Hi guys, welcome to another episode of The Bridge. I'm Arisa Ugu, and today we're going to be talking about a very exciting topic, at least to me. Treasury bills. It's my usual go-to investment option, and we have some very exciting guests on the show. Peju Jaiyeoba, an entrepreneur and the founder of Mother's Delivery Kits.
Hello everyone.
And Mrs. Odunla Aikomo from CBN.
Hi everybody.
And Mrs. Helen Ikponmwesa from CBN as well. So I'm really excited, guys. Stay tuned.
For the Central Bank of Nigeria, our first work now to make sure say price stable. But to fit achieve this kind thing, we must make sure say money stable plus financial environment way sound and chance to take collect capital without disturb for the real sector. This now why since 1960 the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) they promote financial system way sound for Naija plus interventions and funding of orishirishi development initiatives them for inside agriculture, micro, small and medium enterprises them and infrastructure sector them. The reason why we dey put hand now to take increased credit flow go inside strategic sectors to take reduce financial exclusion rate and stimulate value chain development. With guarantees, rebate and direct funding them, we support plenty orishirishi initiatives where we target to take create wealth and plenty job opportunity them. Shey na agriculture business you dey do, MSMEs abi infrastructure development? Make you visit www.cbn.gov.ng abi make you waka enter any CBN branch to take know how you fit take create wealth plus job opportunity them. This message now from the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN).
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of The Bridge. I'm Arisa Ugu, and today we're going to be talking about foreign exchange, real estate, insurance, exporting, how to make a killing in the stock market.
Hi everyone, my name is Afua Osei. I'm a co-founder of She Leads Africa.
My name is Bankole Olafemi. I'm co-founder of Big Herbal Media.
Welcome to Utopia Beauty. We're an online beauty store that sells skincare, hair care, and makeup products.
I am Chef Regs Bubemi Fregene, executive chef and owner of Chef Regs.
Every single product that we stock is tried and tested by my team and I.
We do a detailed menu here at Chef Regs so that the team has very specific instructions on what to do.
For me, one of the coolest things about being an entrepreneur, especially one who's working in the creative media space, is the fact that I can wear my hair however I like and I can get away with not having to wear a suit.
And you need to stay watching The Bridge.
Welcome back, guys. So today we're going to be talking about treasury bills. Treasury bills are basically short-term money market instruments that are backed by the government and have guaranteed returns. So basically you're borrowing the government's money for a short period of time. The reality is, even when with all these different asset classes, financial institutions spend so much money marketing, but the average Nigerian doesn't really know what financial products are available to them outside of a savings account. But treasury bills actually have quite a good rap, because most people have an idea that treasury bills exist, but what I found is that they don't know how it works. So today in the studio, we're going to be discussing with these beautiful ladies, and they're going to be telling us and sharing with us how it actually works. So hi guys.
Hi.
Hello, Arisa.
Okay, so first of all, let's talk about returns, because Nigerians always want to know, if I put X amount of money here, how much am I going to get back? And treasury bills over a period of time, it went from like 4% to really great rates now to about 16 to 18 yeah. percent. So, what changed? And, how do the returns work? How do you ensure the returns?
Oh, thank you very much. I'd like to enlighten the public about what is Treasury bill. The Treasury bill is a government debt instrument. When the government has a need, it gets money from the public, and then it issues instruments which the public can subscribe to. So when you're a holder of this instrument, you can, like you're investing.
Yeah.
That's an investment option for a short term. It has 3 tenors. You have the 91, 182, or the 364 days, and it is a money market instrument. And so it comes in, the rate of interest for treasury bills are not predetermined. They are market driven.
Fantastic.
Yes.
So basically it depends on the demand and the supply.
Yes, like she said, the rate of interest on the treasury bills is market driven. It's determined by the market. But there are some factors that they factor into their determination of the interest rate. One of the factors is the monetary policy rate. That one is fixed at every meeting of the MPC. Another factor is inflation rate. Because basically, you will not invest and don't have a real return on your investment. And if your return on your investment is lower than inflation rate, it's like you are not having real return as it were. Another thing that determines the interest is the liquidity position in the system. What the quantum of money that's available in the system at the time the auction is held, for example. Then the perspective of the investor too will determine, like, I have 1,000 naira in my hand. This is what my money is worth. And this is the rate I want for my money. It is based on auction. They bid for the instruments, and it is their rate that will determine what the selling point is going to be.
Okay, so in case you people did not understand the big English that Madam CBN was saying, because my audience need for us to break it down for them.
Okay.
So the monetary policy rate is basically something that CBN fixes. And treasury bills are typically higher than that MPC rate, right?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Not necessarily. The point we are trying to make is the fact that
you're trying to make it more attractive. You make T-bills more attractive.
More attractive.
So it's better than inflation. Does it beat inflation all the time?
Sometimes it does. Most time it does. Because basically, it is the market that determines what the rate is going to be. It's not as if the government that is offering the instrument are the one that will tell you that I will give you my instrument at 1 day NTB, for example, as so amount percent. No. It is the customers that would dictate. They would tell this is how much I want to buy. This is how much I want to buy. When everybody has submitted, then a cutoff rate is determined. Then you get your instrument at the rate that you have bidded.
Okay, so it's market driven and it depends on basically demand and supply. That's what would determine the return. It's fantastic.
A bi-monthly auction, and it is a Dutch auction. Dutch auction means that you buy at your own bid.
You buy at your own bid rate.
So if I have like 20 bids for that auction and they all come at different rates, whatever is determined as the one that clears the market, you will end at your own bid, but not at the stop rate.
Fantastic. So
even if your stop rate is 15 and a subscriber, bidded at 12, you'll be given 12, not 15.
So Peju, have you ever like bought treasury bills? Is this something that you've ever been interested in and gotten an explanation about how they work?
Well, yes, I do have investments in treasury bills, and I was introduced by my investor who told me, just give me background information about the fact that, okay, this one is better than putting your money in bank fees. Yeah, that's basically what she told me. And I'm like, okay, if you give me better returns, if I'll get better rates, from this, why not? Okay, let's just try it. So that was the minimum and most basic explanation I got about treasury bills. So the important thing for me at the time, exactly, was the return. At the time I was investing was, will it give me better rates than putting my money in fixed deposits? And the answer was yes, it will give me better rates. So I went for it. That's just
it's quite interesting because at one point it was 4% and people say, Nigerians, if you hear small money is like, please, so what's the point of doing it? But when the rates became around 16, 18, I think there was not a lot of awareness. So not a lot of people knew that you could actually get like such a substantial, return compared to your savings account. So let's talk about risk.
All right.
So you're borrowing this money to governments, basically.
Of course.
Is it risk-free completely?
We said that the investment is backed by the full faith of the federal government of Nigeria. And Nigeria cannot fail.
Amen.
So it is risk-free.
Basically.
Basically. There might be other technicalities, like the interest rates, risk, the risk that, market might move, and then you need to maybe rediscount your rate, your instrument for any reason. You might not really get what you paid for it. That's what we're talking about.
So basically, if somebody invested in treasury bills and they need their money for less than 91 days, or they need their money in less than 91 days, there's basically going to be a risk of losing some of the money that they've invested.
There might be risk of interest rate, yeah.
Yes. Because you are not going to the full tenor, right? So that's interest rate risk, guys. So recently, the policy sort of changed when it came to treasury bills. So before, you could have on paper, you could have 8,000 naira and invest in treasury bills. But most banks usually collected at least 100,000 naira for you to be able to bid for treasury bills. But recently, the policy has changed that's made it less accessible to everyday individuals to access it.
Yeah.
I think the rate is now, the minimum is now 50 million.
Before now, the minimum was 10,000.
Yeah.
But now, I think as from February, it has become like the minimum is 50 million.
50 million,
50 million, 1,000,
wow.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a bit about why? Like, what was the sudden reason for raising it that high and making it less accessible to retail investors?
Early this year, the DMO on behalf of the federal government introduced a new federal government security or instrument, so to say. That is the FGM savings bond.
Okay.
So I guess the adjustment in the structure is for them to be able to create a market for the new instrument.
Oh, I see.
Because for the new instrument, the minimum investment is 5,000 naira.
What kind of returns are there on that one?
That one is determined by the DMO, I guess.
Okay.
Because at the point of investing, they will tell you the rate at which they are selling. And the investment could be for 2 years or for 3 years. The minimum investment is 5,000 naira, but you have to invest through a stockbroker.
Okay.
And you should have a stockbroker account because that is where they will credit your investment.
So basically, right now, treasury bills are more accessible for institutional investors and high net worth individuals. But I'm sure there are other ways that retail investors can participate in treasury bills still. So I've heard of, some companies, buying it in bulk and then now investing it in, or putting them as part of their money market mutual funds so that retail investors can have access to it. So I guess, is that the only way that a retail investor can access treasury bills right now?
And there could be other ways, but basically, I think the major way that they could access treasury bills for now is maybe through unit fund.
Okay.
All those investment fund where a number of investors are brought together in a pool and investment is done for them en bloc. I don't know whether the DMBs have anything in that regard, but at least for unit fund, I am sure that you could give your 1,000 naira, I give my own, she gives her own, and everything is brought together until we have the minimum requirement for that investment. And when the interest comes, it is shared in proportion to whatever we have contributed. So,
okay, Peju, did you have any? Sorry, I was going to ask Peju. Peju, did you have any concerns like when you were investing in treasury bills, or do you feel like this this conversation has enlightened you a bit more when it comes to your investments in treasury bills?
I think that this conversation has really enlightened me more about my investment in treasury bills, because one thing I've always wondered every time I receive my certificate of investment was, okay, so the last time I invested, it was 10%, and now I'm seeing 13%, and I typically don't get any explanations for those variations in rates. But from this discussion, I've been able to understand, all the factors that determines how those rates get fixed. I mean, I did not even realize that, it was the purchaser, the people who bid for it, that actually also determines. I never ever knew that. Like, I thought that it was, you go to the market, you buy stuff, the buyer tells you this thing is going to cost 15 naira, and is exactly that was the image I had in mind about investment.
You know what's so interesting? I got a message the other day from someone saying, I think they're cheating me with my treasury bills because they said it was 15%, and by the time I was getting my money, it was not up to 15%. It was just some small thousands of naira. What I realized was that people, they see 15%, but they don't realize that it's 15% per annum. Yeah. So it means that if you're buying it a 91 day one, it's being prorated for that period. So you're getting 3 months worth of that 1 year interest. So a lot of people don't understand how it is calculated. So just in general, just in closing, can you just talk to us a little bit more about awareness, like what you do to make sure that not just people who are regulars in the financial markets, but the everyday person understands what the opportunities that there are, in money market products like treasury bills?
Okay, for treasury bills right now, like you rightly said, the minimum has increased. So if you're coming as an individual, as a solo investor, it might be a little bit too high. So you're advised to go to maybe your unit trust or your commercial bank will be able to advise you also. But then federal government is trying to create awareness for the federal government savings bond, and then to increase Nigerian participation for their savings. It's just 5,000 is the minimum, and then you're going to hold it for a minimum of 2 years, and then you earn your interest quarterly. So that is, I think, it's
quite similar.
It's similar, and then they want to, encourage more Nigerians to lock up their money for a bit longer than the treasury bills of either 91, 182, or 364 days. So if you're saving for 2 years,
you'll see better returns.
Returns. And then of course quarterly they'll be paying you some interest.
Chimjo, I want to die. Calm down. What is the problem? That bank, they vanished with all my money. Which bank? Oh, the Wonder Bank. Yes. They made away with all my entire savings after promising to double my investment. Hey, I'm finished. But remember, I warned you that those Wonder Banks and Ponzi schemes are illegal. They come up with all sorts of schemes to give you 100% interest or more on your deposit within a very short period. Yes. After collecting your money, they disappear. Hey! Many unsuspecting investors have been duped by these so-called banks and financial houses. Yes. Next time, when you want to put your money in any investment, either in any bank or any financial house, make sure you do a thorough investigation through the financial regulators in the sector. Hi. I'm finished.
Beware of scammers. Don't put your life's investment in Wonder Banks and other questionable institutions. This message is from the Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee, FSRCC.
Okay guys, so the federal government is trying to get us to save more long term as opposed to short term, which I think is a great thing. Thank you so much for watching another episode of The Bridge. I had a fantastic time listening to these ladies. Thank you so much. The beautiful ladies from CBN, Central Bank of Nigeria.
Thank you.
Mrs. Helen Ikponmwesa.
Thank you.
Mrs. Odunla Aikomo.
Thank you.
And of course, Peju Jaiyeoba.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much for being with us, ladies. Let's continue this conversation on social media. You can find me on @SmartMoneyRS. You can also follow the Business Day page, Business Day NG, to share your thoughts with us. Thank you so much. See you next time.